G'day, bait making guys and girls. Right, I'm carrying on my series looking at how to maximise and optimise beginner baits so they're not beginner baits. So let's get right into it. Okay, moving straight in, looking at base mix. It's very, very high protein base mix. It equates to about 80% protein and it's extremely soluble. What I'm going to do is increase the soluble amino acid content. And what I've got here is 20 grams of lysine HCl. Now, in this form, it's extremely soluble. It's called free form, and this forms a kind of ionic bond with water that fish detect as a solution really, really strongly. And this is the amino acid which is most deficient in nature, and very often, the one that really makes all the difference, although there are key other ones in the group of palatability factors in terms of amino acid that I would recommend. But if you want more on that, go to my website, baitbigfish.com, and you'll find details of one-to-one tuition and my e-course that you can get there. But this base mix is very dense. I've opened it up with various factors, enzymes and salts, and lots of soluble material, including other amino acids and salt forms of amino acids. And it's moving on to the liquid. So I've chosen for my liquids in this beginner blend very specifically maple syrup, because it's rich in minerals and it contains a very specific compound, extremely attractive to carp. And then here, this is a high oil natural peanut butter. That's 100% peanut butter. And this oil, the carp absolutely love it. Extremely palatable, and it gives your bait a really, really attractive oil and fat content. As an attractor, I'm not making this bait as food really. I'm making this bait as a feeding trigger to get your fish to pick your hook up. I've got honey here, and I always use honey. It says blend of 3 different sugars. Molasses, of course, you've got loads of pigments, and you've got loads of minerals too, and it includes betaine, and this is a really dense version. And then here I've got yeast extract, and obviously this is an own brand by Asda, but anyway, large high street shops will do this, and otherwise you find it online. Very, very useful, extremely high in palatable amino acids, nucleotides. This one's 10% salt, and it also contains vegetable extracts, which make it even more attractive. And here I've got a natural oleoresin, vanilla. This isn't just vanilla, it's got a few other things in it too. And chipotle hot sauce. So this is basically a blend of chili extract or chili oleoresin. So you've got 2 lots of oleoresin here. And you've got this is on a base of vinegar. So you've got another organic acid there, which is a feeding trigger, and also citric acid. So you've got 2 of them. So you've got 2 oleoresins, 2 organic acids, loads of them of palatable amino acids and minerals running right through this bait. And this is on top of the base mix. Okay, so I hope that gives you a bit more insight into how a beginner bait can be more than a beginner bait. And this little blend here, I don't think people tend to think about mixing essential oils all that much, all the levels used, but in a kilo, certainly with all bass mixed with clove and orange. I mean, blood orange is definitely the best, beyond any shadow of a doubt. It's the most potent. Cloves is among the most potent of any spice. And yes, clove is one that you can overdo in an egg sealed boilie. But certainly in all bass, in terms of all bass with others, I guess I would use something like, say, 2 mil per kilo, and that would definitely be easily enough to attract your fish to your bait, even if your bait is a 50-50 soya semolina base mix. So there we go, there's some beginner tips for you. I'm going to mix this up and yeah, show you how it looks along the way. Okay, following on from a few little notes on the base mix and the liquids that I'm using. Flavours, so the flavour blend that I'm using, when you smell it as a human anyway, because we're innervated, our nerve system is different, the way it's wired up to the brain, completely different to carp. So our perceptions are totally different to carp anyway, even though they're far more sensitive to us than us. But anyway, the flavour that I'm using, if you smelled it, it would smell of milk, butter, maple, maybe butterscotch. Again, you know, individual people smell different things more because everyone is different. We're more sensitive as individuals compared to other individuals, and carp are exactly the same. So some carp might like one component, be more sensitive to it than another, and that might depend on their strain, their genetics, water pH, all kinds of factors, the kind of profile of the bait, other enhancers in the bait. There's loads of different things that can come into the equation in regards to how a fish experience your bait. So the principle I'm putting across is, you know, hedge your bets and blend your flavours. And in this case, I'm not talking about just pure solvent flavours, and traditionally that would be, years ago, it'd be propylene glycol, alcohol, ethyl alcohol, it could be oil-based, various oils, could be glycerol flavours. But the flavours that I'm using basically are actual, yes, they're solvents, there's a lot of alcohol that I've made in these flavours, so I want a really, really soluble flavour. But on top of that, I've added a whole range of organic acids, a couple of which I've already mentioned. And you know, I brought an ebook out on flavours and feeding triggers years ago on how to make them yourself. You're not dependent on the bait companies per se, so you can get into that and experiment and have great results, believe me. Other aspects I'm using are sugar alcohols, products of fermented proteins, acetates and so on. So I mean, basically all these are elements of, or byproducts of or pathways of metabolism in the fish that represent energy shortcuts, and this is partly why they are feeding triggers, because they are by definition energy shortcuts that save the fish essential resources in terms of amino acids, creating enzymes, and basic energy within the fish on a cellular level. So let's see about the next step. Okay, I'm just going to add this powder to the liquid, which I just mixed up very thoroughly, and then carry on making the paste. When that paste is ready, you can make your boilies. Okay, as you can see, this is a firm paste, and I'm going to leave this in a bag, a Ziploc bag, take the air out of it and leave it to sit for about an hour. Let it firm up quite considerably, and then I'll form baits from it, because right now it takes time for the amount of soluble materials to really soak up the liquids, and doing this fast just won't do it justice. So if you look really closely, you can see all these little grains in there, and these are soluble milk proteins, but they do take time. It's a bit like letting a snowflake, like a sponge, soak up the soluble materials so they expand. and then in a bait, as the bait breaks down and unlocks the solubles, and certainly on the outer layers, then this will allow a lot of the materials to become solution, and also the whey protein will become, in effect, a bit like snowflakes as they absorb water again, because they've only absorbed a certain percentage of water here. What they're doing is absorbing sugars, alcohols, and all kinds of dissolved substances, and that will suck in water into each flake, as it were, and make their density change, so they actually become active and move in the water. That's very interesting. So you find some snowflakes of whey protein will actually shoot up in the water, carrying with it all the solubles and oils, etc., making the bait much more attractive and detectable. So there we go. See you in an hour. Okay, so I've let the bait sit for about an hour, and it's still soft, but it's malleable enough to make into baits. I might even add some more powder to it and let it sit a bit longer, because it really it takes up an awful lot of powder, because the powder isn't consisting of insoluble carbohydrates at all. So for beginners, that's a really good point. But anyway, this bait also really smells nice. So it's absolutely saturated with elements of milk, natural milk flavours that you find in milk powders, and it contains lots of fruits as well, including peach, plum, orange, and quite a few essential amino acids in there, organic acids, etc. So yeah, have a think about this video. Make your baits house friendly with some nice flavours. It always helps. And see further information on my site, babyfish.com. If you want one-to-one bait tuition, then just go there and contact me there. And if you're into big fish and using minimal amounts of bait and catching against all the sponsored anglers, then and having, finding, I've got some free articles on there. In fact, I've got loads of articles all over the place. But yeah, contact me, find out more, get on your bait making journey and a few steps further, get some more assurance and confidence, and I can show you how to experiment with bait with absolute confidence. So you're not sitting there thinking, oh, my bait's not working. It's like, that version works, you're just experimenting with other versions at the same time, and they're all winners. So anyway, see you soon. Tight lines. Oh, wonderful to catch a £30 common on homemades. This is May 2022. How about that? Yeah. Beautiful fish. Homemade's definitely worth it. Definitely. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.